Welcome to Youth Ki Baat by Youth of India Foundation. Today, we bring you the story of Aditya Oza ji, a young entrepreneur who has proved that age is no barrier to building big ideas. As the co-founder and CMO of EMotorad, he helped transform the e-mobility space in India, making electric bikes both cool and accessible. Now he's channeling that same drive into his new venture, Luxora Experiences, where healthcare meets luxury, creating journeys that heal, inspire, and stay with you forever. From shaping the future of mobility to reimagining the world of experiences, Aditya ji's journey is a masterclass in innovation, resilience, and reinvention. Stay tuned as he shares his lessons, challenges, and vision for India's next generation of entrepreneurs. Only and only on Youth Ki Baat. Namaste Aditya ji, welcome to Youth Ki Baat by Youth of India Foundation. Since you have built EMotorad, One Menu Tech, Luxora Experiences right now, what is the common thread that is collecting all these three experiences?
Firstly, thank you for having me. It's an honor and a pleasure to be here talking to the right set of audience who are bound to build India for years to come. When you talk about the common thread, I think it has been about the India story for me. It has, and of course, when we discussed my journey, it was about backing the entire story about how India is going to grow and evolve over a period of time, and just keep betting on that one after the other. One of them was, of course, a big fat failure due to COVID, which has taught a lot of lessons to me. Another one, of course, scaled and have become into a bigger thing. Third one is growing very fast, and it's in its early days, hustle days. So the common thread, I believe, is India in all three.
What was the main start of the journey? Walk us through the entire journey of yours.
Sure. So yeah, I come from Indore, tier 2 born kid. Had this dream of probably going abroad and getting that job. And of course, initially growing up, the dream was getting that TCS job of 25,000 rupees, जो आपसे 5-6 साल बड़े बच्चे ले रहे होते, which was my sister and her friends. And you're dreaming about that, and at one point you realize कि वो लोग फिर बाद में US जाते हैं, they go abroad. So if you do that, it is like life or tick mark, So grew up dreaming about that. Then happened to go to Ahmedabad at some point. And there I realized it opened my eyes so much. I'm such a big fan of Gujarati culture because of that. Anybody who succeeds in Gujarati culture, they just try and pull everyone up too, which is a fantastic thing about Gujarat as a whole. And I think it speaks of the progress that they made over the years.
Right.
So studied between all the rich kids of builders and me coming from that super humble background and struggling financially, I realized every one of their father had this rags to riches story. तो आप गुजरात में पिछले 20 साल में देखोगे everyone have gone from scooter to Mercedes. They have been on a cycle or a scooter back in the day, and then they have somehow made it by their hustle, hard work, and the community support. So I वहाँ से थोड़ा entrepreneurship का कीड़ा लग चुका था. Then got a chance to come to Pune for my masters. There I met my current CEO and co-founder at EMotorad, Kunal, and Kunal and I started discussing brainstorming a lot of ideas. कुछ करते हैं. So we used to be those two टपरी boys sitting in चाय टपरी पे. यार ये चाय वाला भी बहुत पैसा कमाता है.
चाय की टपरी बनाते हैं.
So yeah, we brainstormed every idea possible, and then we knew that we have to solve a problem. We can't just start doing a धंधा. So वो building बना के बेचेंगे तो इतना पैसा आएगा, ये करेंगे तो इतना पैसा आएगा, and we always just keep dreaming. And then one day we realized both of us had a motorbike, but both of us were walking क्योंकि कोई हमसे borrow करके motorbike लेके गया हुआ था. And we realized कि यार अगर ऐसा है next time कोई आएगा ना तो हम देंगे नहीं. क्योंकि हम वॉक करते हैं, we would rather rent it. So we started doing that, started renting out two-wheelers to our fellow students, started buying used two-wheelers क्योंकि बहुत सस्ते में मिलते थे. And then we would get deals like हमने कोई 28,000 rupees में Activa ली थी, and of course back then it was cheaper, 2013, 14 I'm talking about. So somebody came and said कि मुझे 6 महीने के लिए चाहिए, मैं तो रोज ही travel करती हूँ. So we gave it for like 10,000 rupees per month. So like in 6 months we made good money, and after that also 6 months later the Activa had some salvage value, right? Of course you can sell it for like 20,000 rupees, let's say. So pocket money के लिए कर रहे थे, and a bigger company came, acquired that startup. मतलब assets acquire हुए थे. Of course it was not legal to do क्योंकि हम लोग campus में कर रहे थे, चल रहा था, सिर्फ students को दे रहे थे. But you can't rent out a white number plate scooter.
Yes.
but ठीक है बच्चे थे अंदर ही कर रहे थे nobody cared and then I got a chance to मैं कॉलेज में गया इसलिए था कि एक कंपनी आती है दुबई लेके जाती है and of course getting that dream done went to Dubai started working tax free good income started paying off my debts and stuff like that at some point realized yeah this is not something that's keeping me satisfied and not in the term that I wasn't making good money but more like I felt I had much more to give and the opportunities in terms of my growth are restricted because whatever I do firstly company makes money and then secondly a lot of other people gets promotion which generally happens in every corporate but I thought maybe it's my thing and then one day Kunal called me and he's like chal kuch karte hain and I was like I've just paid off my just completed my car loan I got a new small house on lease साल भर की lease होती है वहाँ पे and he's like if you get married and have kids you won't be able to take this chance अगर तू अभी नहीं ले पाएगा तो so on that one phone call I came back down to India so 10 o'clock he called me in the morning 6 p.m. I dropped my resignation I served like 15-18 days का notice period wrapped up everything came down and then we built this thing called One Menu that we spoke of idea was to build technology around hotels and restaurants build a great product launched it third day of launch all restaurants and hotels got shut because of COVID so all that I was just drained out now we keep trying कि जो hotels खुल रहे थे for all the COVID patients to be but nobody cared about it right like everyone was genuinely struggling the business itself was shut तो फिर realize किया then राजीव and सुमित के साथ में we started EMotorad so then we were 4 co-founders it was a very extensively built business where sourcing was a big arm operations was a big arm sales was a big arm built this thinking कि China plus one is going to be something and if people are going to at some point start looking at manufacturers outside of China maybe India could be one and India में e-cycle manufacturers नहीं है cycle बना लेती है India electronics आ रहा है but scooter ही बना रही है which is for Indian public but बाहर most sold EV in the world is e-bikes so it was like 5 times more than scooters motorcycles and cars from 2020 to 23 25 million cars और scooters मिलके बिके थे 125 million electric cycles were sold so I'm like nobody knows the potential here but it exists if we can do something we might have a chance
The first mover advantage.
got to start EMotorad and of course it was a learning curve started it from the same thought process कि यार everything that we dream of in a big company and building it around the same foundations of culture building it around the foundation of genuinely getting the right set of passionate people instead of just skilled people क्योंकि इस इंडस्ट्री में स्किल तो एग्जिस्ट नहीं कर रही थी 2018-19 के आसपास so got them together started building and fortunately it grew then at some point it became so big I just went to my co-founders and I was like yeah, we've become slightly corporate-ish I don't fit very well into that I love speed I love breaking things so I think I should do something else and they were like hey why not we would love to invest in whatever you do so now they gave up my responsibilities as a CMO still a co-founder at EMotorad but now started building something called Luxora Experiences Luxora again is betting big on India story Indian medical ecosystem is growing so strong and outside healthcare systems are failing big time and I think we saw that start initiation at the time of COVID where our healthcare system had just come up all the vaccines if you talk about all the doctors if you talk about the technology also now is scaling up so well realize that these failures of ecosystem abroad which is earlier we thought it's just the cost right कि US में आप treatment कराते हो वो 12x महंगा होता है इंडिया से we thought that could be the reason people travel but that's not the only reason in US आपका दांत दुख रहा है you have a toothache you go to the dentist the first thing you get to hear is come after 30 days and then that's when they see your case so like forget about the treatment right on average 26-27 weeks in certain months it scale up the first consultation we were like yeah this is support like it's cheaper here it's faster here people can travel for the right set of surgeries so saw a big potential gap started working there got some results now and of course it's moving in the right direction so now very very hopeful of what we can build from India story again
and all the best to you for that and I'm very glad to see that it is working well for you
thank you
as you mentioned about Kunalji just calling you up and you coming back
yeah
you place so much faith on him as a co-founder what are the 3 important traits when somebody is building up a business what are the 3 important traits that they should look at for their co-founder
yeah massively important question right like and I think Naval Ravikant puts it up so well I don't think anybody can he's like the thought leader in our industry and most things that he speaks of. I think he talks about integrity. I think he talks about somebody being ethical and having that hard work in place, and somebody being smart. So it's like you don't want to end up with a smart crook either. So very well summed up. But from my perspective, I was also coming down to work with my best friend, right? And if the business doesn't work out, there's a big chance that it spoils your relationship. So I so many times people ask me, because in my new startup also my cousin is my co-founder. So many people ask me how, and I've seen people like having long relationships break up because just the business was tight. Yeah. And there have been, हमने घर पे भी सुना है, right? Papa, Chacha, everyone ends up, and this happens, right? Like if it can happen in bloodline, why won't it happen outside? But I think it's a core idea about finding somebody who you want to succeed as badly as you want yourself to succeed. And if you can find somebody and they can reciprocate that feeling, I think everything works out.
And that is also the same thing that you follow with your team as well.
Yeah, I know. I think I am very fortunate there. Some great bunch of people ended up choosing to work with us. So it's just very lucky to find such amazing people. So back in Dubai, I realized that I was working in a very toxic culture, and regardless of who say what, white people had a different dominance, right? And then you see them getting a very high position even when they do not have the same educational background and experience as yourself. And I really thought that there is a big change. We are all humans end of the day, right? There is a big change when people have the freedom to express themselves. So even when we are building EMotorad, and of course now when we are building Luxora, one मैंने तो इतना scale किया नहीं. The idea was always the same, that on day zero, our job is to make everybody come into a space where they feel like they own the place. And that's when they will deliver to their potential. So end of the day, on a business, you just bring a bunch of people together and you expect each one to give their best. So first thing you have to do is, and of course when you will go down, and would love for you to showcase some highlights of our office to the viewers.
Yes, we have actually.
Amazing. So we put up a place where people should miss this place when they go home. So that was our bottom line of culture, that every Monday they should wake up and they shouldn't be like, oh shit, it's Monday. They should be like, oh yeah, it's Monday. And if we can make that happen, and if we can make them miss this place when they go home, every other thing will be sorted. They will sort it for you. But you have to sort this for them.
The team becomes the culture.
Yeah.
That's great. What if one menu was something that you had to restart right now?
Yeah.
What would you do differently?
I think it's a great product. And genuinely, when I was starting up something new, Kunal of course told me, why don't you take that up and get going, because of course we had some product ready there. I think one thing I would do is, initially a lot of people told that start local, start in niche, built in niche, and I think that is one theory that completely did not work for any of my business. And I'll give you an example. Had we started EMotorad thinking कि हम लोग सिर्फ पुणे करेंगे, we would have never become this big. We had to make for the world. We started making more. The more we made, the cheaper product we could create because of economies of scale, and it worked out. At one menu also, we were making this one mistake. We were actually going to local hotels and saying, hey, why don't you take us? So let me give you an example of a product. Basically, you have no language barrier, which can be such a great advantage. So you go there in your mobile phone, you can just order everything that you want. So every service that the hotel has, you can order. Now at the hotel end, imagine if somebody has gone on 5th floor to deliver a bottle, he will come back down to the reception just to know, oh, 501 के बाद 502 ने भी एक bottle मंगाई. That's such an efficiency loss, right? And then you need 2, 3, 4 extra waiters just because this happens. So imagine he also gets it on his phone, he goes and give it. The bigger advantage is if somebody launches it in China or South Korea or Vietnam, where the language barrier exists. I think it's going to be an instant hit. And then figure out your ways to expand into countries where the need is more niche and not as genuine. So I think maybe that is something we would do different.
What do you think is the difference between the culture that happens abroad and the culture that is being carried out in India?
I think one of the biggest difference in organizational culture is, in India we and it's a great thing to have as well, we are like super hardworking people, right? I've worked in Barcelona, I've worked in Canada, I've worked in Dubai. I can tell you, people abroad are way chill about their thing, and they have this very strict 9 to 5 policy also. In Barcelona, I'm very surprised to say they have a 10 to 2 policy. I don't know more than that. I used to struggle there because I was a workaholic and my team.
You're a person who loves speed, na?
Yeah, and I would struggle so much because people would come at 10 o'clock and be like, hey, I need a coffee. And I'd be like, yeah, you coming at 10, and then at 2 o'clock they want, yeah, I just finished lunch, I'll take a nap. And they are gone. They're like, by 5 o'clock I have to reach there. So I have to, of course, leave at 4. And you're just waiting and looking. Everybody was the same. Of course, you can't expect. But I think that hard work India needs as well right now because we're building this country. And that's the advantage we have over there.
We have this hustle culture coming up too as well. What do you think of it?
I think it's, yeah, you can choose not to be a part of it, right?
Right.
Yeah, but I think the ones who are choosing it are actually genuinely building the country. Every person who is doing more than what they are supposed to do, and yeah, बहुत simple ये logic है, and I've of course read it. You must have read it in so many books. If you do something for a long period of time, way more things for a long period of time that you're paid for. At some point, you'll be paid way more than what you do. So I think those few people who will take enough risk and who will do enough hustle are going to be paid exponentially more, and not just in terms of money, in terms of all regards. So I think there is no other way in life to succeed apart from hustling much more than the people around you. That's the easiest way. Otherwise, you can win a lottery also, but then that's a short way. If you can hustle more and a slight bit more smarter than everybody else, you are definitely going to break your way.
Extraordinary. A
Like,
little bit.
I think everyone can become extraordinary. In that
I think
sense.
it's just a choice that we have to make.
Yeah, agree, 100%. It's a matter of choice. You become good at one thing and then it reflects on. So let's say जिंदगी में आप 10 चीजें करते हो, और if you are not good at anything, it will reflect on everything. But the second you become great at one thing, I don't know, Darshil Safari same thing, right? He became good at skate drawing and then of course. So life is pretty much the same. Like if you do your diet well, then suddenly you realize, oh, I also should work out. So you'll start going to the gym. Oh, then I should also take care of my skin, and then you will do that. Oh, I should take care of my mind. Maybe you start meditating. But all that starts at some point, right? So one thing does have that implication, and then you'll be like, okay, I need to read books. I need to sleep on time. And everything gets better in life. I think, yeah. So it's a matter of choice.
Because I think we get more disciplined when one thing works out well.
Yeah. You just want to improve other thing because it's going to improve that part too, which you are putting in effort. So.
Right, very right. What about the boring and tough days that happen in the starting of the startup, in the beginning of the journey? You've talked about the boring and tough days.
Yeah, I think it might look boring to people. For me, it is not boring in that sense. I think it's
one step at a time.
Yeah. But I would call it's definitely difficult. It's like insanely difficult to build anything new. I keep talking about my team, talking to my team about this. The biggest things in life are bamboo stories. So a bamboo plant, 5 years, you keep watering, nothing, and then somebody will come one day and be like, this, 50 feet bamboo plant was grown in 5 weeks. No, it was grown in 5 years and 5 weeks. So जब 5 साल का मेहनत है ना, I think that is where all the juice is. But then you will get results. The day you get it will be super fast and it will be super big. So genuinely लगता है कि it's very difficult to do anything. I'm not talking about just business for that matter. Anything new, anything, if you're trying to build something, it is definitely difficult. But boring for a few, I'm sure. And you are used to. So what happens is, and this is something I've seen. You're used to taking certain calls, right? Me being a part of EM, I have different budgets and a lot of small things that I was not supposed to do. So that's why I named it boring. I was not supposed to go and collect stamp paper because I wanted to do something. Because there was somebody else doing it for me. But then at some point you realize, oh, ye karna padega. And there are so many small little things add up. And then every time, of course you have advantages because you built something. But somebody who does it for the first time, cheeze pata nahi hoti hai, you get into this loop of waiting time for everything to happen. I think that is the boring part for me particularly. But tough, it is tough for everyone. Anything new, it's tough for everyone for sure.
How do you think patience matters there?
Yeah, I think lack of patience matter more.
That's a twist.
Because if you are patient about things, no, you are not going to act. If you are impatient, you are different. So, एक दरवाजा नहीं खुल रहा है, it's fine. Go knock on the next one, and definitely one of them will open.
To keep
and
going.
yeah, and I think at every stage of your life, you have different doors to knock. yeah, how enthusiastically can you knock on enough doors to find the answers faster.
Right. So how do you combine all of these data when you were making EMotorad as well, when you were making Luxora Experiences as well? How do you combine data with intuition that okay, this is going to work well, this is not going to work well? What is your theory behind it?
Yeah, I think that very interesting question, and I think one of the most important part of a new entrepreneur's life is to be able to take decisions on basis of lack of data. If you have waited long enough to sustain enough data, you're already late at making decisions. Like that is such a big truth of life. Of course, all the data you have, you will try and figure it out. You will want to make sense of everything that you have. But if you waited कि यार मुझे पूरा data set मिल जाए, you're already late. I mean, it's too late to take that call. And I think that's a big part of startup world particularly. Business world, you of course take big calls on because you have a mammoth amount of funds to allocate into things, and you want to take a very judgmental call backed by strong data insights. But to be very fair, a lot of data backed insights also go wrong. So of course it's a risk. जिंदगी में कुछ चीजें सही और गलत हो सकती है. It's not always in like वो श्री कृष्ण वाला theory, right? Like results are never in your hand. Try and you assume thinking it will go right, and you will go out and try to take the best decision you can, but don't only wait for data. A lot of the time it's not just intuition, it is also experience at times, right? Like okay, this what are the consequences of this, and what are the consequences of the other decision, and depending on the consequences, sometimes you take risks, sometimes you are not willing to, which makes sense.
Very right. What is the one instance where you had to actually perform this with any one of your companies?
I'll say MS Dhoni for example, right? Getting him on board, and of course he came in as an investor and also became a part of our journey. But bringing him on board was a big decision, right? Because at any given point in time, if you are trying to onboard a celebrity, there is of course a cash element involved as well. So to spend that much amount of money, will he be able to bring certain amount of impact? And of course, we were evaluating other stars too at some point. I think that was a intuitive call as well. Yeah, it is going to work, and we grew 10x just by onboarding him. Like in next 1 year, we did 10x of what we were doing earlier. So I think sometimes it does work. Sometimes it might fail also. We've made enough and more mistakes to be very candid about the fact that we have taken wrong decisions, and it's okay. It's a part of the journey.
Like, how did the idea of Bole Jo Koel came into your mind?
Yeah, so very interesting, and a big credit to my friend Akash from OHC. So we had already onboarded one of the agency, and we were listening to pitches from different people for different ideas. Right. And at that point in time, I happened to do a call with Akash, and Akash said, we are going to do something together. And I spoke to my partners and I said, if we can just prolong MS campaign a little bit, I want to do one campaign, and that's what we did. I don't know if you guys had a chance to see a daddy campaign. So it's again from Animal movie, and we bought so there's this character called Freddy, and then and we can't use of course for the right reasons we couldn't use Freddy as a name, so we named him Daddy, and he came in, and so that campaign actually was it's my favorite campaign. I don't like both the MS campaign as much as that. Of course, those two are also amazing job. But we did that, and it was amazing, and I just went to Akash and I was like, let's do something crazy. And he was like, yeah, I have crazy ideas, but MS won't agree to it. I'm like, that's my problem to solve. You find the craziest idea. And he's like,
convinced him?
Yeah.
You did?
I think, again, did it with Akash, so both of us, and we did it on the day of the shoot. So if it goes south, it goes south. Like it's just, yeah, so we are sitting there hoping that if we say no, what are we going to do? And we're just talking about like, we'll make it work. We'll just convince him to say yes. And he was sporty enough. He was so, he knew about the things. Yeah, it was interesting.
So how did you approach him? He was like, this Ghana you have to sing or
so we narrated the entire script, and we were like, in between you have to sing a song and do this, and we were just keeping shut about the song, of course. And then he goes, yeah, what is the song? And he's like, I'm not going to use my voice to sing it. What is the song? And we're like, guys, what is the choir? They just smile, and it's like, what song is that? But it's funny because now when you look back, you can always think somebody as big as him also realizes and understands when he become a part of our brand, how important it is for us to do good at marketing. That campaign by itself did close to 150 million organic views across platforms. People shared it, they posted it. all the impact. Had he said no to that thing, I would have had to spend money to get that 150 million views. I think that's kudos to him being a sportsman and genuine sportsman into this equation as well, and saying yeah, let's why not? I think it took a lot. I mean, he got a lot of respect for that as well.
How important do you think is the role of marketing in any business right now? Looking at the entire digital marketing space evolving so much.
Yeah, I think very important. Yeah, but I keep telling people the same thing that if you have a shit product, no amount of marketing can solve it for you. But if you have a great product, you can just become a great company by using marketing. So you cannot solve your product problems with marketing. You can solve some of your sales problems, you can solve some of your awareness problems, you can get people to be interested. But the only way you cannot solve somebody recommending it to somebody else by marketing only. If your product is great, that will happen. You cannot solve repeat purchases in a lot of industry by marketing. Only if your product is good, it will happen. If you give me a bad experience with anything, no amount of marketing is ever going to make me purchase again. So I think certain problems very well solvable, but the first problem to solve is a great product. And product is a function of marketing too. So I really believe that if you find the right, either solving the right problem or giving the right experiential product, I think it does half the job for marketing also to go out and make an impact.
You mentioned earlier you are the first movers in these industries and there are very less competitors as of now. What is making it difficult for people to tap into the market?
Yeah, so I think we are governing even on offline and even on online. We have made more than 70% of the sales, right? And I think that itself says that there is already a great product in the market. We have one or two competitors for EMotorad, and they are of course doing their bits. So it does not leave a lot of space for people to come. We are growing the market ourselves. There is no other person who can come in with so much money, who can get a brand ambassador in place and can do marketing and then try and sustain, get the shares, right? And it's not an easy business to do either. Like it needs a lot of investments to kick in.
Right.
So it's a difficult one. But I am very sure of the fact that for us initially, our exports backed us up. But with time to come, I'm sure there would be new people coming in and the market would be big enough for others to enter too.
Very right. Luxora Experiences, you are actually combining two of the things, healthcare and hospitality.
Yeah.
So what made you believe that India could be a global hub for medical tourism?
Yeah, I think first and foremost, like I said, the cost difference, right? I'll give you very authentic examples. If you go out and do an angioplasty in US, it is $56,000. In Turkey, it is $16,000-17,000. In Thailand, it is $12,000. In India, it is $3,500. You cannot have 10 to 12x differential, either to 15x is valid for any surgery abroad, right? And if that exists, you might want the patient to spend $1,000-2,000 on flight tickets, come down and get everything done, go back, save that ton of money. Now, where it kicks in is a lot of these surgeries abroad are not covered under insurance. That means people have to spend, and then waiting time comes in, and then the idea about specialties also come in. So if there is enough and more waiting time, probably you are not getting an expert surgeon there. So why not consult with one of the top surgeons in India? And fortunately, India has one of the best doctors, and that's a mindset people have abroad as well. So when I used to go to doctors in Dubai, I could see that there were 3 doctors, one from Egypt, one I shouldn't take the country's name, but 3 different doctors. And the Indian doctor had this long queue, everybody waiting to consult with her, and I was also waiting to consult with her actually, but the kind of trust that the global ecosystem has on Indian doctors especially, brilliant. And if we have that, why not? Like we should serve others. Medical tourism can become a big reason why India sells everything. However, it's a perception problem as well. That's a tough one to solve. People have their own medias governing their perception around India. I think it has improved a lot, but still people are unaware about India, and it is our job to make them aware. But still we serve with countries like Thailand, Korea, Turkey, Mexico. So every big hub of medical tourism is already present on our platform, and we try to make sure that with every one of those hospitals and countries, we pitch India as one of the solutions. And of course, that cost makes it lucrative for people to ask, hey, how's India?
So what do you think needs to be changed in India by mindset and infrastructure so that it is actually moving towards being a developed country?
Yeah, I think we have a long way to go for becoming developed, right? And The reason is very simple. We are a huge population, right? To be developed, all of them need to find a purpose, and to find that purpose, of course, a lot of us are firstly looking to find a job in the first place. A lot of entrepreneurs might end up bringing this change. I think in back in the day, and today of course we are in a much better situation, but corruption needs to go off. We are supposed to become more of an opportunity-driven country than just status-driven country. I think for a very long time, status was everything in our country, but now today people are okay doing things and taking up jobs without thinking about what people would think or say. And yeah, somebody will come up and say, okay, मैं XYZ चीज़ करूँगा as long as it's mine, and possibly he ends up employing 5 people. This guy who would have been another load on the system, which is already so loaded, he decides that मैं खुद करता हूँ something and I might employ other people. So he takes some load off that already loaded system. I think enough and more entrepreneurs are already coming up, and I think that change has just started to spring. I think it's going to happen. It's just a matter of time. Hopefully, by the time we get there fast. We get there faster than the other countries, especially our neighboring ones who have done it. And I think Indian dream becomes a thing just like the American dream.
Right. I think nowadays in India, every next person that you find is probably a founder of something that they're building upon, some purpose that they're leading.
Yeah.
What are the things that these young entrepreneurs should keep in their mind when they're building something?
Very interesting. I think the first part is don't try and build something just because it looks fancy, right? At some point in time, I could see everybody wanted to open a chai scalable business. I mean, there are enough and more tea sellers, and there are good ones as well. And you want to, of course, then it turned into coffee at some point in time, and then there was a wave where everyone wanted to build into edtech only, and then there was a wave when people wanted to just put up a t-shirt store. I think waves are good, but they erupt, right? Like they go up and down. If you genuinely want to build, try and solve a problem. Like that's the bottom line. Find a problem, try and solve it, and if it's genuine enough, and if it impacts enough people, I think you will find your niche. Another thing for anybody to consider would be do not try and build things big only. Build things great first, and I think big is just a matter of opportunities and at the right time too. I think the last one could be, and maybe find a great set of people to work with. You really want this journey is insanely tough. You want to enjoy your part, and I think that they are the part which you enjoy the most. Meeting the right minds, people you love, or people you can really spend those 18 hours a day with. Those 3.
What are the 3 things that you look at when you hire a team? When you hire somebody, what are the 3 traits that you look at?
I don't know if 3 is something I look at, but I'm very clear on the fact that somebody not having enough skills or experience can beat somebody with skills and experience. He is coming with the passion and the drive to do things. If he has some sort of a point to prove, I think that defies everything. Somebody is looking for that opportunity where what he's been lacking in his previous career or journey. I think if you give him that, and if he can just break open the facade, that's the guy I'm looking for every time. Because everything else can be learned, right? Like we are all humans, we can learn and adopt from others, stuff like that. I think that is enough and more for anybody to come in and do great things.
Right. About the mentorship part as well, about grooming them up, or about building up the people and not just the product or the company.
Yeah.
What do you think? What instance made you feel like that? Okay, this is how I should build things in my companies as well.
Yeah, I think having a toxic boss helps. So I had one back in the day. I was a trainee at that time. It was my first job, and he came in one day and he said, "Zindagi mein hamesha trainee rahoge tum." And I just looked at him, and the first thought I had was, if I ever do anything, this is the guy I should replicate. So this is the guy I should not, like everything I should just think on वो क्या करते हैं, and I should just do the opposite. I think it's going to work out. But he just said that guy, whatever, I think he gave me enough and more push as well to do great things in life. However, if there is something that you can do for mentorship and grooming people and building them, is giving them enough and more tough opportunities after opportunities after. So it should be, the difficulty level should keep growing, and your expectation out of them should be the same. and you should make them believe in that expectation. Like very honestly, make them believe. I expect you to go out and kill it, and I know it is tougher than everything that you've done so far. And the next time it is tougher than everything you've done till then, till then, till then. And if you keep giving them, at one point they realize, oh, they've done so many things, and of course they will fail at some. It's fine. Everybody does, but yeah, I think by the end of it, you'll just look back and they would have transformed themselves into a much bigger problem
The
solver.
faith is the main game here.
Yeah,
The faith that you
Yeah.
place. That's
Yeah.
great. With these difficulties that you give them, with these opportunities that you give them, there must be a lot of highs and lows.
Yeah.
Let it be the team in your life as well. How
Yeah.
do you treat highs and lows?
I always feel like your team needs you the most when they are going through struggles, right? And the same with us also as individuals, as humans, right? Like मम्मी की याद तभी आती है जब some girl has broken your heart, right? So तुम्हारी फैमिली की याद तभी आती है जब you are under a high fever, right? घर का खाना तभी मिस होता है जब तुम बहुत टाइम तक बाहर खा रहे हो. So I think the whole idea about you really needing something, genuinely feeling the need about something, is when you are actually going through some kind of lows of life.
Struggling with something.
Yeah, maybe, and sometimes it is also mental, right? And I earlier never believed in the fact that there can be mental struggle. I was coming from financial struggles of the life. तो मुझको लगता था finding that good enough things, a great place to stay and enough food to eat is solves everything. And what is mental struggle? But when it comes, right? And I was naive about that part of the life, the mental health, and I learned it over a period of time. And then I realized that it is genuine blessing and boom to have somebody in your life when you're going through the lows. And you should try and be that person and at different point, different people are struggling with different things. So if you can just be a hand on the shoulder of somebody who needs it. And I ask my team to do the same. I don't think I am the only one. I tell my team the same thing. Sometimes, like if you first have to be the teammate you think you deserve. So I think if everybody does that, you are in a great company, right? So.
Who has been that one person for you?
I think Kunal, I think it's also been the reason for a long time I've been miserable because of course
The highs and lows.
yeah, but he always had high expectations out of me, which is what made me push through to it, right? Now when I look back, I can always say, yeah, he never settled for everything. Like anything I delivered, he was like, yeah, we can do better. Yeah, of course he can do better. But when I needed the most, I think my friend was there for me as well. So yeah. My another friend also, Prashant, my brother Mikhail, my sister Aditi. A lot of us, them have been like Nupur, Alisha, my two besties here. So all of these people have been like my small little family. But I really believe in every aspect of your life you should have somebody like that. You can just come in and tap you on the back because जब आप बहुत अच्छा कर रहे हो तब तो दुनिया ताली बजा रही है, right? At that point, that guy is gonna be like, भाई इतना भी हीरो नहीं बन रहा, come down. This is where
Slow it down.
Yeah, and when nobody is clapping for you, he is the one who calls you a legend and is like, bhai, I know you have it in you, and nobody believes in you, but I do, and that means so much. That's all the hope you need to get going.
Right. How do you treat validation coming from people in your life?
Yeah, I feel like when I left my job in Dubai and I was coming back, my mom and dad were not validating that decision. So I really believe I am one of the odd ones maybe, but I don't care about what anybody thinks of me. I am like this, I am happy, and as long as my intentions are not to hurt anybody, I don't care about anybody else's intentions or what they would think about me. Most of the failures of the world are lying around only one reason, that people did not start thinking about what others would think about them. It doesn't matter. They would think about you the same things, even if you do good, even if you do bad. Might as well do what you love.
At the end of the day, it's just yourself taking care of
Yeah. I mean, your close ones are all that matters, right?
Very
Do good things. Do things that you're proud of end of the day. Do things that helps you sleep well at night. And if you are genuinely doing that, I think God takes care of it.
Waking up with a purpose is also something that we look at.
Yeah.
How do you think grit, showing up, conviction matters in an entrepreneur's life?
Yeah, I think when you're looking to solve a problem, right? And I'm not talking about the bigger problem of the mission level only. Even on everyday level, I was just talking to my co-founder Mikhail recently, and I was telling him he was telling me actually that a great co-founder a great entrepreneur always knows three things that he's supposed to solve. And then by the time he solves that, he already has figured out the next three he's supposed to do. And he was telling me, Adi, you always do this, you always have three things for all of us. You always will keep clarifying कि ये तीन चीजें करनी है, तीन चीजें करनी है. And I feel if you have those things in mind, it helps you wake up. And that grit and that passion is just a thing that comes by default. मतलब ये I'll say it's a part of the journey that just comes in. The whole idea about funding those things that you're trying to solve regularly, because bigger purpose of course लोग करते ही हैं. I've spoken to so many people who have been big dreamers but not doers, जिनको बड़ी चीजें करनी थी, but they never started off on. But उनका ड्रीम अब वही था कि यार हम वो बनाएंगे, but वो बनाने के लिए यार पहले दिन कचरा साफ करना पड़ता है, and then you have to dig the hole and then you have to put the foundation, and that's how great things are built. पर पहले का काम कोई किसी को नहीं दिखता है.
Taking the first step is the most important.
Yeah, and लोग वहाँ चालू नहीं होते. So yeah, I mean most of all the other things are just something that will automatically come if you are every day trying to know this is the most important thing to do today. Okay, next, tomorrow, what is the most important?
What role does contentment play in your life? Are you content with what are you doing?
Yeah, I think super content, but not satisfied. Right? Like I genuinely believe there is much more, and at every stage, if you get satisfied, but I think I'm more than happy, and by the grace of God, I have come this far. I have got the opportunity to do amazing things, and of course, we want to do more amazing things. I mean, it's just at some point it becomes, oh, okay, what next? So it's never ending in that sense, but I really believe I wake up very happy every day. I think that's somebody was recently asking me what has changed from my life back in Dubai and of course working in corporate. I just said that yeah, I'm very excited every Monday, and I know on Saturdays in Dubai I used to feel like, on Sunday nights in Dubai I used to feel like I have a lot of job. I think that has gone. It's been so many years of I have not felt that.
So it's the energy that keeps you going कि यार अब तो कुछ करना है तो ये करके ही रहना है.
हाँ, yeah, maybe. I think it's just that pure thing, pure excitement about your next day. कि अभी क्या होने वाला है? It solves so much for you. It's just because if you approach any tough thing with excitement, you end up doing it. I just feel that कि आप ना at least आपका attempt मस्त जाता है. And must attempts and must results. So it just.
I can feel the entrepreneurial energy here, the hustle, the grit, the conviction, everything.
Thank you.
You must have come across a lot of personal stories while building Luxora Experiences.
Yes.
What is that one personal story that has been stuck in your mind?
One person, of course we couldn't help them because they chose somebody else, but still a part of. So needed very urgent medical care for somebody who in their family who had cancer. Wanted to fly down and wanted to book things very urgently, was struggling to find right consultations. So we helped them in the journey, but they ended up choosing something else, which is absolutely fine. But that just, and it was just the start, right? And I am deep down super emotional, but I keep that emotions away from business. But I think that did trigger to me when I spoke to the patient and I realized they're suffering. It just made me feel like, okay, we are not just the ones who are selling something, we are solving something, and these patients needs their problem to be solved. And if we genuinely, if that pain can be felt by, and it doesn't happen in medical industry as a whole, everybody is trying to sell. You get inside a hospital, the first thing people are trying to do is to make sure how can your bill go as long as it can. So I felt that is something we don't have to do, and if we can stick to that and do great job at genuinely helping people, I think money is going to be an outcome.
Is it just business mentality that comes down or runs down these medical institutions that you're talking about, or is it actually the idea of being purposeful and solving a problem has completely being removed from their own mindset?
Yeah, I also think about it sometimes. I think these are a bunch of people who have made business out of people's misery, right? And I think it's a bad place to be. When you are given opportunity to do great things and you still end up choosing to make somebody who's already suffering suffer more. And it could be the reason of suffering is one place they are suffering because of health condition and you're making them suffer because of financial condition. How sad a life that is, right? Like what will you do with all that money? I mean, at some day you will have to go back to God and reply to him. What are you going to say?
What's that one belief that you've always held on to while building Luxora?
Not just Luxora, right? Like this is like one of the strongest beliefs I have. the journey of any person, like, and I think it is for each and every one of us to believe in. I am the hero of my own story, and if I don't believe it, how can I expect anybody else to? So each and every one of us should possibly do that. Like, you are the hero of your own story, and I think you should think the same, and I think they should think the same, and they should think the same. Because when you start believing in that, you start acting like a hero, and then you start facing challenges like a hero, and then you start doing good things, because that's what heroes does, do good things. And then I think it just adds up to everything in life, and hopefully you live a hero's life. Like, you never know. So, yeah.
To me as well, the most important thing that I feel like is to be able to look at myself in the mirror and say that I did it at the end of the day.
Why not? Yeah, interesting.
So we'll move towards a very fun segment, that is complete the sentence.
Yeah.
So your team would describe you as?
I don't know, they should call me mad. But yeah, I think they and I get this a lot, full of energy and full of
You are.
speed. So.
I can second that now.
But yeah, I think and my team is very kind too. So I don't know, yeah.
One thing that you cannot live without.
My cat. I think I'm too much in love with her.
That is so cute. Success to you means?
Just genuinely doing things which everybody thought you couldn't do, and just and as long as you want to do it too. Yeah.
The craziest thing you have done as a founder, apart from Bole Jo Koel.
I think, of course, it grew out of proportion at one point, but I think there are a lot of crazy things. I think and it changes with time to time. Really, the first craziest thing I did, and being a new founder, was finding somebody. And it was like, oh my god, how do I do it? It was the first time, and I felt so bad for a couple of days. But then you realize it's good for the larger group, right? But the craziest thing I have ever done as a founder is me and my team stayed in the office for 7 days, eating, brushing our teeth, sometimes bathing here. Yeah, we have a washroom also with the shower. So doing everything. हम उसमें साथ में पता नहीं कितने दिन नहाए होंगे. So crazy, but yeah, I think those 7 days.
Team building exercise.
Team building exercise. Yeah, don't attempt it. But it went well. We like. Till today, what people who were interns back in the day, and now a couple of them have come long way. Everyone talks about those days, and they said they're like the most fun 7 days we ever had. Let's do it again, but it never happens again. But yeah.
What is your favorite part in the office as well?
I think it's probably the pickleball court is really cool. I love going there. Maybe the gym as well. I also feel very vibrant in my cabin around my team. Maybe taking a walk also, because the weather is pretty amazing. I don't know if you guys know this, but I've been a big part of designing this office. So
you have?
So and my team is everything on the walls that you see. Of course, if you can show it in snippets, have been painted by the team themselves with their hands. So we love doing our things, even on the factory side, the entire landscape, the layout, everything. So we love doing things ourselves, and we are like, oh, it's okay to make mistakes, but we want it to be ours, right? You can look at a wall and say, why did we draw that, and the reason exists. So yeah.
And even with the flaws, you would have a memory associated.
100%. There are so many flaws, and genuinely, if you go around, there's this wall that says. So there's no elevator in the office, right? Because they are supposed to build it even further.
Right.
But elevator is supposed to come at some point, so we're given that space. So we have very big write-up that says there is no elevator. And it was supposed to be, then we decided the day elevator comes, we're going to be like, there are no stairs, there's no elevator to success. So we just cut off the success. We're like, there's no elevator, because that's the fact, there's no elevator.
If you could describe this workspace in a song, what would it be?
In a song? I think, I don't. What kind of songs am I listening to lately? I'm just getting all the bad words in there. but I think it's the weekend, right? And just because of the name. Maybe I'm naming the artist, but yeah, the weekend, because you just feel like weekend for the majority of the world is being themselves, enjoying, doing whatever they like. And I think that's what the space is all about.
That is the best answer you could give.
Yeah.
The one thing that you have completely figured out
in life, I doubt I have figured out anything. I'm okay to. I still keep exploring and keep learning. मुझको नहीं लगता ऐसा कुछ भी है जो I figured out. Yeah.
If you were said not to work for a week, what would you be doing?
Very hard, yeah. I don't know. I've taken off, but I take my laptops and iPad. And I genuinely love working, so I don't feel like I'm working. But if I'm not doing anything, I'd be playing drums, I'd be working out, chilling with my cat, sleeping a lot. I love to sleep. I don't get to sleep as much. Maybe hiking a little bit. But I am not sure that I won't be working for 7 days. I think it's very tough to imagine. Yeah, it's tough to imagine.
Is there any particular adventure that you would want to do in your life?
Yeah, I think I had a couple of them on my list, but I've done most of them. One of them is jumping off a plane, which I promised a friend to do it together, but unfortunately we couldn't get together. So we're just waiting for that to happen. So that is due, but
looking forward to seeing it.
Yeah, maybe. And maybe one day driving a Formula One car. I would love to do that.
That's great, man. If you would be investing in a startup right now which is solving a problem, what would it be?
I think I would love to invest in what I'm building already. I really genuinely believe in this. Maybe, and again, no problem is small or big to solve. But anybody who's trying to build, and maybe I think the reason you're asking this question is what ideas can people pick up. I think anything that you're building that is tomorrow's technology, and especially defense tech, big sector. Again, something that I don't know how, but one day I would love to be a part of, build something for my nation that helps us protect our sovereignty.
How important do you think is being confident in what you're building?
I think you should be delusional about it. Be mad about it. It doesn't matter who says what. Confidence is left way behind. It should be, people should look at you and this guy is crazy or nuts. He's not going to make it as fine, but they should be like, this guy is super delusional. I think that helps.
What would you say to younger Adi right now?
I think probably retrospect में सारी चीजें सेंस होना चाहिए. And I think I possibly 10 years to 15 years down the line जिन चीजों के लिए मैं आज शायद worry करता हूँ, I'd say yeah, it doesn't make sense to worry about those, but again I would do the same. I'll be like 15 साल बाद कोई मुझसे पूछेगा तो बोलूँगा यार आज those things, don't worry about those things, they will take care of themselves and great things might happen. But I'll still worry about it because that's how humans are.
Right. What was your first big win and how did you celebrate that?
The first big win, I think it was the four founders winning our first award, and we thought it is, oh my god, winning that award was the great thing for us because तब तक हमको किसी ने recognize नहीं किया था. We were doing business, we were doing a good startup, but nobody knew what we were up to.
And how did you celebrate that?
Yeah, we were in one of the hotels. उसी होटल जहाँ पे अवार्ड फंक्शन हुआ था, हमने वहीं पर रूम ले लिया, and two of my founders were married then, so उनकी wives and we and all of us got together and we cut a cake, and after that we went, of course we drink alcohol, so we went mad partying and we had a blast of a night, and yeah, I think it was some night to look back.
What has been your sweetest memories with your co-founders?
I think the best memory I could speak of is going to Neem Karoli Baba with my co-founders. It's genuinely been a very different feel. It's just a very different energy. I don't know anybody who's trying to start anything. It is my ritual. Would love and suggest everyone to go and do that. I think, and I hope people know that at some point in time, Steve Jobs came to Neem Karoli Baba. He got his sense of belief, went back and started Apple. Facebook was going down, he advised Zuckerberg to come down and go to Baba's ashram. Baba was no more by then. So he came, visited the ashram, and then he realized, oh, connecting people is everything because he saw so many crowded people. So maybe that's the idea Baba wanted him to have. Before every funding round, before starting anything new, after doing anything super big, I always go and pay my gratitude. I just feel it's a very different vibe and energy I get out of that.
Where does this belief of spirituality and mythology come from?
I think it comes from my mom, of course, but then I don't believe, my mom, I introduced her to a lot of new things also in here. I think it is also because when you try and do impossible things, you realize that just by the basic default of efforts are not going to work. You will need some amount of luck, you will need some amount of some energies to come in, the right set of people to come in, and some stars to align for it to work. Because you're trying that difficult things, and if you genuinely are praying for such things to happen, then you start believing. Then you're like, yeah, there has to be somebody helping me, and there are these energies that end up helping you doing great things.
Do you think manifestation works?
Yeah, I strongly believe in that. 100%.
Has there been any one instance which you manifested and it came out to be true?
Yeah, I used to do small instances also, and then I felt like कि बहुत ही superpower है तो like it is so stupid and now but I think it works. So I used to go write a paper and I used to just imagine कि मैं जब exam hall से निकलूँगा I will like क्या great paper हुआ है. I used to manifest how I would act after that paper, and I would just come out and do it regardless how the paper was. But yeah, I mean it works. So you can misuse it also. It is just too much to use it as well. So yeah.
So we are coming to the last question of the podcast. What is that one advice that you would give to every young person listening to this right now?
Yeah, I think one of the only advices I would possibly give is most people don't know what they are trying to build and do. Do not worry about what anybody will think and what anybody would say about what you are trying to do. They themselves are. At one point in time when I was doing something, doing engineering was everything, and sticking to my job was everything, and getting that high paying salary was everything. But most of them don't know, even including our parents, including our friends, because by default they are programmed to safeguard you, right? That's their nature as parents and friends and family. The problem with them safeguarding you is they are protecting you from taking enough risks, and nothing in life comes without taking risks. So take your calls. If your heart says something, just go for it. What's stopping you?
I think that's the best note to end this podcast on. Thank you so much for being here. It was a lovely, lovely conversation.
Thank you so much for inviting me. It's great to be here.